Good morning and welcome. I'm here today with Jill Hollowell. She's the Environmental Program Specialist with the Ozark Rivers Solid Waste Management District. And Jill today is representing the food surplus and waste sector of the food system. Jill, we're excited to have you. Thank you so much for answering some questions today. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do with your role in your organization?
Certainly, and it's good to be here today. I represent one of the 20 solid waste management districts across the state of Missouri. And our primary goal is to reduce the amount of waste that's being sent to landfills. So you might be familiar with Ozark Rivers or our association with Meramec Regional Planning Commission through some of the newspaper articles. Most recently, we held a special collection over in St. Robert for appliances, electronics, and tires, and we actually recycled over 5 tons of materials. So I think that's one aspect of name recognition that we get. And we'll actually have our next collection in Dixon on May 8th. Other projects that we have would include our annual grant program. And again, just to keep things local, for several years, we have funded Dixon High School Key Club and the Dixon Area Caring Center's recycling programs. And our investments have exceeded $125,000 to keep these programs up and running. And we're really proud of the relationships that we have with educator Trish McCrae and program manager Mindy Sinden. And I hope they're both on today in one of the presentations. But actually, Ozark Rivers is more than just recycling. We are able to reach out to farmers and to producers and to help them improve their programs addressing waste reduction. And I think that as a whole, that we, as our Ozark Rivers, is really striving to maintain the health of people, profit, and the planet. So basically right now we're really looking at how we can reduce food waste. That's a top priority globally. And our mantra has basically been feed people, not landfills. And with that in mind, we might all just reflect back for a minute, put ourselves in our kitchen the last time we cleaned out our refrigerator. We might have found some styrofoam containers, some Tupperware, an uneaten pork chop, some slimy vegetables, and this all represents the amount of food waste that each of us have in our own homes. And then think about the amount that you threw away. And let's multiply that to what it would be for a week. And multiply that about what would that basket of waste look like after a month, 6 months, turning into a mountain of waste. And then think about an entire year. And the shocking results is that it has been estimated that Americans waste 30% of their food annually, and that actually has a dollar value of $1,800. So not only is food waste a challenge, it's also a challenge for our pocketbooks that we might not really be relating to. Another aspect of waste that we often don't even think about is called embedded costs. And that's the price that is paid when the farmers are watering your tomatoes or when those tomatoes are being transported to a retailer or being processed into tomato paste until they finally end up and the retailer is paying money to have those products put on the shelf. All of that money is wasted too. So I will offer right offhand out there in Zoom land, if anyone would like to take some steps to address their own food waste, my email is in my resource packet that was handed out. And just shoot me an email and I will actually return to you a little sign that's going to help you take the first step to reducing your refrigerator food waste.
That sounds great, Jill. And so, what are you thinking about? What are opportunities in our area and our region to help reduce food waste?
Opportunities, yeah. I mean, it's so specific to individual areas, and rural areas are really unique because of the logistics. Big cities like Kansas City and St. Louis, sometimes they have curbside collection of food waste and organics. But I think what we need to look at in our district, so thinking about from Pulaski County, all the way down to Washington County, all the way up to Gasconade County, is what are our motivations and what are our opportunities? And I see that the true motivation here is the realization for people to know that, in the United States, there is $200 billion being spent on food that is never even eaten. And the opportunity that we have is to feed hungry people. If we have an estimation that we have like 41 million hungry Americans, and 25% of those hungry Americans are children, how does that transfer to our local needs? So it would be up to us to figure out how we can really own our impact. And again, starting in our own kitchen, how can we learn more about tools for reducing food waste, such as storage? How can we educate our children to truly value food? And next, the last step would be sharing our knowledge with others, because that's how you create change. You talk about it. So let's keep talking.
Great. Okay. And then what other resources do you have available, or what would you like to see, or what could you help with in terms of helping in the communities?
Well, we feel that we really need to develop food waste warriors, people that are really willing to take on this challenge and make a difference in their own community. What food is being wasted? And I always like to look at what is already in place. So maybe a good example for our local area would be to look at our schools. Very often schools have a surplus of food, and might that food be gleaned or donated to another resource, such as a food bank or a church or a shelter? Now, a lot of people might really hesitate about, donating food, but I just want everyone to know that in 1996, there was the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act that was actually passed by Congress that prevents liability for people accepting or donating food. So that's a big thing right there, because people get really nervous about food donations. But we do have items that can be donated, whether it's a carton of milk, whether it's a fruit cup, and these could go to feed people in need of food in our communities. Oh, also, there are other ways of, I forgot to mention that. I was thinking in terms of just locally, who has goats? Who has chickens? How might some of that food waste that's coming out of the kitchen go to help feed those animals? And I just get a smile on my face thinking about a bunch of little kids walking up to a bucket that has a picture of a goat on it and dropping their apple core or their banana peel into that bucket. I mean, goats love banana peels. So that's one way. And the other gleaning aspect would be if you have a farmer that is not going to harvest all of their crop, that you could get a bunch of food waste warriors, gather some volunteers, and go in and rescue that food that could be great for a stew or a pie. So there's a lot of programs out there happening.
Great. I know my kids started using our food waste scraps and putting them into a worm bin. And so they like to watch the worms and see all of that. So that's another fun opportunity. But I know another resource that you have available that you're helping to encourage with schools relates to composting. Do you want to talk a little bit about that too?
Oh, certainly. We have a wonderful edutainer, and his name is Stan Slaughter. And he created a special program for us called Food Too Good to Waste. Now, due to our current situation with COVID, we realized that, we had to change and accommodate current needs. So Stan will be performing for schools virtually, and also offering a funded challenge project where students could do some composting, or they could do a project on food waste reduction in their school or in their homes. So it's a great opportunity. And if you'd like to see Stan in action, you can see him on YouTube. And the video is called Compost Mechanics.
Fantastic. And he is a really good educator and entertainer all in one. And you also have some curriculum resources too, if a school was interested to do some, more composting or reducing food waste, right?
Absolutely. And, and in my dreams, every school would have like a farm to school connection. There are a lot of curriculums out there based on that farm to school, or especially a school garden. And again, we love to consult and help teachers and local community groups, whether it's 4-H, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, with these types of projects. And I think for students to really understand where their food's coming from and the true value of food will really set us up for a brighter future.
Thank you so much for talking with us today, and we'll look forward to sharing your resources and connecting with you as we move forward in this Dixon Missouri Eats project.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.